Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is JonHut and today I want to share with you my favorite instrument. We are gonna see which are my favorites: analog synths, digital synths, orchestra, real instruments and also drums. Now, before we jump into the computer, I just have to let you know that most of these plugins are not free. So if you want to know a list of the free versions of most of these plugins, then stay tuned to my upcoming videos. And with that said, let's right into my favorite instrument. Okay, so let's have a look to my favorite instrument. I divided by 5 different categories: drums, analog synths, digital synths, experimental and orchestra. We are gonna start with the drums. I have a Kick 2 by Sonic Academy. This is my go-to for a kick drums. It have plenty of options to help you create the kick that you need. And then I also use FPC, which is the stock drum machine by FL Studio. Now let's have a look to the analog synths. Let's start with Diva by Yuhi. This is definitely my favorite synth. Diva offers 5 different oscillators to choose: triple VCO, dual VCO, DCO, dual VCO echo and digital. You can also choose between 5 different filters: ladder, cascade, multimode, Vite and UVI. You also have 2 different envelopes and you can choose by ADS, analog or digital. It have 2 different LFOs and 2 slots for effects. You can choose between a chorus, phaser, plate reverb, delay and rotary. I use Diva for everything: bass, plugs, keys, pads, brass, etc. Next one, we have Repro 5 by Yuhi. It's based on the iconic Prophet 5. It have an incredible sound, and even though the Repro 5 is still crashing sometimes on FL Studio, I use it quite a lot. Hope that one day Yuhi fix this issue with FL Studio. I use Repro 5 for pads, keys, brass and sometimes plugs. Then I have June 6 by Arturia. It's based on the Roland Juno 6. It's really good for beginners of sound design as it have a really simple layout and it offer a unique sound. I use it for arps, pads and keys. Then I have a Mini V by Arturia, which is based on the famous Mini Moog. It's an iconic synth with a powerful sound. I use it for a bass, leads and plugs. Next one, OBXA by Arturia, which is based on an Overheim OBXA. I really like the filter of this synth and I often use it for pads and keys. And last, BX Overhausen, which is based on an Overheim Sim. It sounds really fat and warm and it have an incredible effects section. I use it for bass, pads and keys. Now let's have a look to the digital synths. Let's start with Serum. There is not much to say about Serum as every producer out there knows about this synth. I basically use when I have a clear idea of the sound that I need and also to experiment in terms of sound design. Next one, Silent 1, which I use for a sub bass, plugs and basically when I need a classic sound. And last, Hive 2, which is the digital wavetable synth by Yuhi. It have plenty of options for modulation and is a beast for sound design. I use it for basically everything: bass, pads, keys, plugs, brass, etc. Next one, let's have a look to the experimental. Let's start with Labs by Spitfire Audio. This is a free plugin which we are gonna see on the next video, which is gonna be the free plugins that I actually use. Then I have Ethereal Hearth, Analog Dreams and Hybrid Keys, all of them from Native Instrument Play series. I really enjoy looking for experimental sounds on these 3 instruments as all of them have a really simple layout. Next section, Orchestra and Real. Let's start with BBC Symphony Orchestra by Spitfire Audio. Then I have String Ensemble by Native Instrument. Next one, Strummed Acoustic 2 by Native Instrument, which is a really good guitar. For pianos, I use The Gentleman and The Maverick by Native Instrument. And I also sometimes use a Piano 2 by Arturia. And last, I have Wurli, which is based on the Wurlitzer 200A electric piano. And now let's have a listen to some examples of how we use this incredible instrument. Let's start with Diva as a bass, pad and plug. Next, OPXA as a lead. Next, BX Overhausen as a synth. Next, Silent 1 as a sub-bass. Next one, Hive 2 as a pluck. Next one, Labs as a piano. And last, The Gentleman as a piano. I also want to mention my hardware synths, which are Sequential Pro 3 and Sequential Rep 2. Both are incredible synths, with the Pro 3 as a paraphonic and the Rep 2 as a polyphonic synth. I use the Pro 3 for bass, plucks, arpeggios, and sometimes simple chords. And I use Rep 2 for pads, plucks, and keys. If you want to know a little bit more about how I use these synths, let me know in the comments below. Okay, that's all for me. Hope you like and learn something from this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching. My name is JonHut.